Hi, this is Patty DePriest and welcome to Educate Academy. Today we're going to continue learning about the new Google Classroom and we're going to be looking at it from the student perspective. Before we do that, I wanted to go over something that I think I missed last week, and that's when you assign a file in an assignment. So I'm here as the teacher and I'm creating a new assignment. So I would put in my title, and then I would add my instructions and give it my points, due date, and topic. But I'm going to add a file this time, and this time I'm going to add it from Google Drive. And it is something that I just created, so I'm going to click on it and add. And notice over to the right of it, it says that the students can view the file. If I want to just have the students read what's on the file and be able to look at it, these are the rights that I would assign the students. But I can change that. I can allow students to edit the file, and when you're doing something that like the collaborative slides assignment, then you would allow students to edit the file. That means every student is going to be in the same file. Here I can make a copy for each student. That's basically like going to the copy machine and making a copy of each file and sending it out individually to each student. And so when it makes a copy for each student, it actually puts the title of the assignment and the student's name or as the file name. Those are three options. So you choose your file, you can upload it from your computer, you can get it from Google Drive, and when it's an actual file, these first two, you have these options of how you're going to give it out to your students. Just wanted to make sure you knew that. I'm going to go ahead and trash this. All right, so you'll notice I'm in here. And over here, this is my personal account, and I am logged in as a student. We're going to be looking at both views. So as a student, if I was in this Google Classroom class, I'm not in it. When I go here and look at classes, I'm not there. So how do I add as a student? How do I get into that class? Well, as a teacher, I need to give the students the code. And so I gave this to you already. It's under that cogwheel, and I'm going to come over here to the class code and I'm going to say copy. And then as a student, I'm going to hit the plus. As a student, they should not be able to create a class. If you're seeing this, that means that that student or those students are in the wrong group in the Google Admin Console. They need to be delegated as students so that they don't have these rights. So they are going to click on Join Class, and I'm going to hit Control V to paste it since I copied it. And I'm going to click Join. And so now the new Google Classroom is going to open up, and now I'm a member of the class as well. So what am I seeing? I am seeing, looks a lot like what the teacher sees. And so in the stream, I'm going to see pretty much exactly what the teacher is seeing. It's not going to look a whole lot different. I see stream, classwork, and people. The thing I don't have here is that cogwheel or that gear that allows me to change the class settings or look at the class settings. That's where I am here. So if I close that, you'll see the cogwheel here. Under upcoming, I'm seeing that something is due on Friday. And if I was to go to the stream, I would see something is due on Friday. So really it's not that different. You will notice that over here, besides about, I have select theme and upload photo. About wasn't there before, but it's showing me the name of the class, and then it's giving me the class code, and I can very quickly click here and display that class code. So I think there was enough kind of feedback from some of the changes that they made in Google Classroom that this is something new that's come about. So I'm going to close that. Notice here as a student I can click about and I don't see that class code. So there's a difference there. All right, so when I go to people, I'm going to come back to classwork. What I see is I see the teacher, and if there were multiple teachers, I would see them here, and I can see my classmates. When I go to classwork, I can see my assignment. If I'm here as the teacher and I go to classwork, I see the assignment, but I also have a create button that the student doesn't have. The student should have the Google Calendar and the Google Drive folder, and they're here as well. As a student, on my three dots, I can copy a link. Over here on the three dots, I can rename this topic, delete it, copy the link, and if I had multiple assignments, I can move them up and down so that they're in the order that I want the students to see them. And I think that's a really nice feature so that you can have everything that's new at the top, or you can move assignments that need to be brought back up to the top for the student's attention back up to the top. That is there as well. Okay, so notice at the top here, I've got this view your work. And if I click here, it's going to show me, and it's going to show me all my assignments. Now it's hard to kind of see what this looks like, so I'm going to go into a different class. Okay, this is a class that I'm taking with Alice Keeler. She does these go slow workshops, and so you kind of over a period of 6 weeks or so, you go through this stuff with her, and she puts all these assignments and stuff in here. But if I go to classwork on here and I go to view your work, I'm going to see all of these things that are checked, meaning I'm done. Some of them are done late, some of them are turned in but done late, and some of them are missing. And so this is what the students can look at and see everything that's been assigned. Notice that one thing is missing here is that you don't see your topics here. All of these are pretty much in order. Alice Keeler likes to number her assignments. I think that's a really great thing if you're in the classroom and you're doing this every day and you're doing it with all your students. Numbering it is a really great way to get your students to find exactly what you're looking for without having to give them the entire title. You can just say, look for assignment number 18, and bam, here it is. I think that's a really good practice. This is a way of seeing all your work. Now notice over here I have filters, so I can see what's still marked as assigned, and it will filter those out. Anything that's missing is still assigned. I can see what's been returned, okay, and I can also see just what's missing. So it filters those out of what's assigned. So that's a different thing that wasn't there in the old version. So I'm going to click on the back arrow here, and I can see everything. My pet peeve in this is that I get in here, and it's like, okay, how do I get back? There is nothing up at the top. You don't see stream, you don't see classwork, you don't see people, you don't see anything. And so to get back to where you were, you actually have to come over here and click on the name of the class, and that's how you get back. And it always defaults to the stream, and if you need to get to classwork, you've got to come over here and click again. Notice here, this is another view of another class. These are the way that she set up our assignments. And then, like I said, it's just an option. And so you've got the topics. She does it by week. She does have an about resources topic, which has a list of things that have nothing to do really with an individual assignment, but have to do with an overall stuff for Google Classroom. This is over, the class is over, so she's going to archive the class. Just because she does this doesn't mean that you can't still get to the class. To get to archive classes, you go here and you scroll down and you see archive classes, and when you click on it, it's going to bring up all the different classes that you still have access to. All you do is click on them, they open up, but they've got this kind of wire mesh over top of the picture, so you know that that is actually an archive class. So I can't edit it, I can't add anything to it, but I can get to the information and still see it. Coming back to classes here. All right, in assignments, let's go to using Google Slides. Some of you are in both classes. You'll notice here in the stream, looks the same, different things have been posted. But in classwork, in this class, I posted a question. And so when I go into this question, I'm clicking on it and I can view the question, and then I can answer my question. So I'm going to read the question, and it says to share my link to my Google Slide presentation that I created for the assignment, and then give a short explanation of how you would use this with your class. The reason I gave this to the class is I really think that asking questions and sharing information with other students is really important, and getting answers from kids. When you ask questions in Google Classroom, you're getting answers from everyone in the class, not just the few that raise their hand. And there are some kids in class, like I used to be, that would rather die or crawl under their desk than raise their hand and answer a question. Let them answer the question here. Once I answer, I can turn it in, and it's important that they mark it as turned in. And notice, because this is a short answer question, I can see the classmates' answers. And so from here, I can then read everybody else's, and you can have a discussion here. You can allow your students to reply. That's what makes us think, is to hear other people's opinions and be able to respond to them. All right, so here up at the top, I can see classmates' answers, and I can still go back to my answer. Because when I set up the question, I gave them the right to go back and edit it, I can come back here and click edit and answer. One of the things that is very important is that you can, as a student or a teacher, as students are working on these things, is you can add a private comment. This is another great way to get kids that, again, would not necessarily raise their hand and ask a question. Maybe they don't understand, maybe they aren't quite sure how to explain something. Whatever it is, they can add a private comment, and you will get an email if you've got your notification set up, and you can go in quickly and respond and have that conversation with a student that you might not have otherwise. Really good thing there. Now, looking at a different question, I'm going to change to a different class, and I'm going to go to this Cool Tools for Schools. If I go to classwork, but I added this survey. If I click on this question, you'll notice that I already answered it, but once I answer a question and turn it in, I don't see this ahead of time. And so I'm not really being affected by what my fellow students have said and how they've answered the question. I answer the question, and then I get to see the answer. So I can come down here, I can view the question. So it tells me what the question is. I can again add a private comment, and I can see how many people turned it in. I have to click again here. So I'm going to go back to classwork. And again, I'm looking at my different topics and my different assignments. When I am in an assignment and I need to do something, then I am going to click on the assignment. I can read the instructions. I can see all the different links and stuff that were shared with me. Once I'm here, I can click on the links from here. So I click on it and it's going to open the video for the class. I can go back. I can open each one of these links, but I can also click on View Assignment. And when you click on View Assignment, it's kind of like opens up to a big page. Notice I can add a class comment here to the assignment. And when you add a class comment, the entire class gets to see it. If it's a private comment, it's between you and the teacher. All right, so I'm looking at this here. One of the things that really is important to point out is when you're done an assignment, you need to mark it as done. Whether it's a non-digital assignment, and Alice Keeler is a really big proponent of putting every assignment a student has in Google Classroom, if it's digital or non-digital. They still can do it in their workbook, they can still do it on their worksheet, whatever it is. They may be recording a video, but they have to go in and mark it as done. They may not turn in an assignment, they may not add anything to it, but just that way the teacher knows that you have completed that. So mark it as done. As a teacher, when something is marked as done, I don't know if that's going to actually, see, I can see 7 people have turned it in, and so when I click here, I can actually click on their stuff and actually to see it. And we'll look more at that next time, because we're going to look at actually now, once the students have done their part, what is it you need to do? The other thing you can do here is if the teacher tells you to add a file, so maybe you're creating it in Book Creator, maybe you're creating it in something else, you can click here and you can add something from Google Drive. You can add something that's a link, so to your story that you created in Book Creator, or you can actually add a file. And so all of those things get added and uploaded, and then the teacher doesn't have to go searching in her email or someplace else to find that file. If the teacher has asked you to create something and she may have left it open, you can use any tool you want to. You may add it this way, but if you're using a Google tool, you can click Create, and you can create from here a doc, a slide presentation, a Google Sheet, or you can add a Google drawing. And so you've got all those. Once you click on it, it just opens up and it will add the name of the assignment and it will add your name. And if you're in Google Docs, I don't think it works in any of the other ones, but in Google Docs in the upper right hand corner, kind of over by the share button, you can actually turn it in from there, which is kind of cool. But once you've done that, you can create that and then still mark it as done. Notice you have your private comment here, so you can still have that conversation with the teacher. As a student, you can still look at the to-do list, and so you're going to see different things here that are due. And as a student, you can't come over to the right and kind of mark it as done or resolved or whatever, but you can see everything here that is still due. Mine goes back quite a ways. Also up here at the to-do, you can also look at what's done, and those are there too. And so it'll tell you turned in, done late, all those different things that we saw in the other class as well. So if you have any questions, this is a pretty quick video today. Feel free to contact me. So next week we're going to be talking about once the student has the assignment and they're working in it, what is it you as a teacher can do? And so we're going to look at giving feedback from a teacher side. We're going to look at doing the grading, all those different things. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you online.